Morning. Hi, it's Sue from Snake River Stamping. It's nice to see you here today. Thank you for joining me a little bit early. I had some appointments today I needed to get to, so I thought I would just jump on here early and do the cards that I promised you. I was wondering what your plans are for Easter. You can type it in the chat if you would like. What you're planning to do. My family is meeting at one of my daughter's houses, and she's hosting not only our side of the family but her husband's side of the family. So there'll be a lot of family there this year, and a lot of kids, which means a lot of Easter fun for everybody, because everyone has several children, so I don't even know how many kids that she's going to have there, but it's going to be quite a few. So I was just wondering what your plans are for this Easter. It's on April 20th this year. Every year it's a little bit different. Okay. Host codes. I was going to talk about host codes. Host codes are changing, and they're going to start benefiting the customers a lot more for you. And this beginning this month, April 15th, is I think the day that it goes live. I still have a host code right now that I'm going to use for the rest of this month. Well, I'm going to use it until April 14th. I'm still going to be offering my card kits and everything through the month of April. And even if you don't use my host code, I will go search out your orders. It's just a little bit easier when I have a host code, but that's entirely fine. I do need to remind you that you need to go onto your online account with Stampin' Up, and you need to opt into using host codes. And because for every $20 that you spend before tax and shipping, you get 10% of that back, and you can accumulate your host rewards, and they save them for up to a year. After that, then they go away, and you start accumulating again for the next calendar year. So for $20, you would get $2 in Stampin' Rewards, which means you can use that money towards purchasing products out of the Stampin' Up catalog. And so it's beneficial to save them up and make them accumulate, and then you can buy something that's a little more, costs a little bit more. Right now the threshold for you is it's for all of us, it's $150. And most people don't spend that much. Demonstrators usually do, but we're ordering differently than you are. And so the threshold is changing dramatically, and it will benefit you quite a bit, that you can start accumulating those a little bit at a time, over time, and then spend them when you're ready to spend them. So just go onto your Stampin' Up account, and if it's not there already, because I see a different, being a demonstrator, I see a different account than you do. If they're not there already, they will be by April 12th, I think, for you to opt into the using host codes. So I hope you'll take advantage of that and get the rewards that you so richly deserve. So I'm going to switch my camera down, and I think, oh, I'm back in the corner again. Yeah, got that figured out again. I would like to remind you that our mini catalog is good through the end of April. And last night I ordered new catalogs for all my customers that have placed an order with me of $50 or more this year. Catalog in the mail. Sent for those yesterday, and they should be here before May. They're guaranteed by May 9th, but they should be here in April. You should get them in April, the new catalog. And I've seen the one online. You know, they have some returning things and some, of course, new things. And we don't know until tomorrow what exactly is retiring yet, because they also have what we call our online exclusives. And a lot of things are shifting to online exclusives. So tomorrow, that list should come out, and we'll see what they put on there and what's really staying around, because they usually do keep several items that are popular, you know, with people, and they just put it on the online exclusives instead of in the paper catalog. And I've heard that the paper catalog is a little bit smaller than last year's catalog, and it has a different layout than it did. So the mini catalog is still available. All the items in here are still available. One of my favorites is this one called Delightful Wishes, and I've used this paper, and some of these things that they have here, they're really, really, really pretty, very springy, and I'll be using them again, in fact, with some cards going forward. So anyway, you probably already have this catalog. If you don't, you can go online and you can see it, and you just go under What's New under the menu tab, and the catalogs pop up and you can look at it online. So I would like to remind you that I still am doing my ordering specials through April, and going forward I'm not sure how that's going to look because of the host code thing and how it's changing, because it's changing for me too. But I'm still going to be doing my ordering special. For a $40 order, you get 4 card kits, 2 of each card. And I have new card kits that I'm probably going to do a live on tomorrow. I'm not going to put it in today's because I have enough going on for today's video. But I can show you one of the cards that I have. That's going to be in the card kit for April. It's this standing, can you see it? It's a fun fold, and it stands for display, and it folds up and goes into a card. You can put whatever greeting you want. I just put Easter greetings on this one, and it folds out lengthwise, and then on the back, on the inside, you can have something for your greeting. And I'll have another one ready for tomorrow that will do. Okay, so that'll be part of my card kit for this month. Remember, you always have to have your own stamps and your own ink to do the card kits. I send you all the paper, and it's all pre-cut. There'll be some embossing that I'll do, but everything else will be done for you except for the stamping. So you have to have your own stamp, and I always make them versatile enough that you can add whatever you would like to the card. My $50 order, you get the card kits in a package of gems. $60 order, card kit gems, and 2 new PDF files. And my PDF files have layouts with pictures and directions that will be emailed to you. And then if it's $150 or more, then, well, between now and April 14th, you get the Stampin' Rewards. but then starting April 15th, that threshold, that $150 threshold, changes to the $20 threshold, where you become the host and you get your own stamp and rewards. So things are changing. I hope that you'll like the changes that are happening to make it easier for you as a customer to start earning a dollar amount with every single order. It's pretty easy to order $20 worth of product if you're a stamper and you enjoy doing things like this. So today we are going to make these little holders, and we're going to make it. Our holder today is going to be these were my examples that I put on my Facebook page. They hold sticky notes. And we have a little box on the front where a package of sticky notes just slips in, and you can also put a pen in there. And they stand up for display. They also fold up. Okay. Now because of the box on the front, they don't fit into an envelope very well to hold the sticky note. I mean, the card itself folds up, but you've got this box on the front that's not going to stick. So this is something that you would probably hand deliver to someone. You would give that to them. And I made, let's see, I made one more. I made this one. Oops. I made this one to show you that you can also fit like a pen in there. There's enough room between the sticky note in this box, and you can put a pen in there if you like, or a pencil or something like that. And this one I used different paper. This is like for fly fishing. This paper makes me think of my daughter, Kate. She is a fly fisherwoman, and she loves fly fishing. And I think she would like this little box to have for her on her counter because of her fly fishing. Maybe you have somebody in your life that likes fishing. We have the fishing paper available, and then on the back you can put a little note card if you would like to, inscribe a note or something on these packages. So today I'm going to share with you, and we're going to use the Storybook Moments and Storybook Garden Patch, or Storybook Friends and Storybook Garden Patch. Excuse me. We're going to use the word Easter greetings out of this one for the stamp. And on this one, I'm going to use a couple of these stamps, although I have misplaced my strawberry stamp, and I don't know what I did with it. So I'm substituting it with the radish stamp and the lettuce stamp today that I'm going to put on the back. And the paper that I am using is Storybook Moments. And I've used up so much of this paper, I had to order some more, but it has just really, really nice paper that will remind you. I mean, if you're old enough to remember Beatrix Potter, these photos or DSP paper really remind me of Beatrix Potter's illustration, the Peter Rabbit books. Today we're going to use the garden tools on ours, but there's also these little animals, and they have the bunnies, and on the back they usually have some other kind of paper. This is the strawberry paper, which I love, but see, I also love the bunny paper. So it's really hard for me to choose bunnies or the strawberries. And then here's the little animals. And they have some of this type of paper where you can cut these out and just put them on a card, and then they have a kind of a plain pattern. I think I used this before to put on the back of a card. They also this paper also comes with all these little punch out animals like this that are already colored for you. They're really cute. And then they have all the veggies and flowers and fences, and I also cut out some frames that they have from the die set. I mean, this set just has so many things in it. It's amazing. I have all my small animals put in this envelope, all my large animals put in this envelope, and then all my veggies and garden tools put in this envelope. And then I also cut a bunch of cardstock that matches, because I look on the label, and it tells me, for this DSP, it tells me the names of all the colors that are in this set. So I go ahead and I pre-cut a bunch of cardstock and put it in the envelope so that I have it ready to make cards with really easily. And I just stick that in my big envelope with all of this product, this particular product. So this is what we're going to use today. And I have all the products cut out for us to use. And I made, when I made the fishing one last night, I cut the box wrong, or I scored it wrong. Anyway, it was really wonky. And I'm really hoping I cut this box right and it works out for us. One of the things that you'll need, because the box is going to hold something like a sticky note, you know, which is a little bit heavy, you're going to need something called you're going to need a really strong adhesive. And the sticky note's kind of heavy to put in this box, and you don't want the box falling off. So Terran tape is a really strong adhesive that will hold this box together and keep it on your card. Okay, so I'm going to share the sizes with you. I've got some gems, I've got back. We're going to do a little bit of coloring. So I did boho blue for this because I'm using the Garden Tools DSP, and I need 2 pieces of the Garden Tools DSP for the base of the card, the front. I need 3 3/4 by 5 of the Garden Tools, or whichever paper. Like you saw, the ones I showed you, I use lots of different kinds of paper, and they all turn out really well. But today, I took the boho blue out of this. It was in the watering can and the boots, and a little bit in those trimmers. So that was 3 3/4 by 5, and then I need a front piece for the pocket, and that's 3 by 2. And that's the front of the pocket. So that's my DSP. So for the base of the card, I'm picking up that boho blue out of that. I pick my DSP first, and then I pick whatever cardstock will go with it that will complement it or match it. So I have a card base that's going to be a tent fold, but I'm going to make it stronger because of holding up that pocket with the sticky notes. I need another base on that, and I'll show you how to put that together. But the card base itself is simply a tent fold. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Okay. Then the base that goes in between here, like if you can see on this one, I put a base in here to hold this up, because if it was just a tent fold and I put the sticky notes in, it would just fall. So we're going to put a base on here to hold this up so it stays put. So the base underneath the bottom part is 4 by 4, and you score it at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, and 3.5 inches. Okay, which is really just 1/2 inch on each side, and then down the middle at 2 inches, because it's a 4 by 4 piece. Okay. Then the pocket, now this is the one I messed up. This one looks right, and I think it's square. My other one was not square. This is looking good. Okay, so the pocket is 4.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So there's a little bit longer. It's 1 inch longer on one side. And then you score on the 5.5 inch side, you score at 2.5 inches and 3 inches, and that's going to make the bottom of the box right there. I don't know if I'm gonna bend it. Maybe you can see it. So that will make the bottom of the box like that. And then on the 4.5 inch side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch, and then at 4 inches, which is 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, so that's going to make our pocket, if that makes sense. And I'm going to show you how to cut. We're going to do a little bit of cutting before we put that together with some tear and tape. And then I pulled in some pecan pie for mats underneath, that are going to go underneath my, because brown and blue go together pretty good, and it's also in this DSP, so you can see that looks good together, and then the brown on the blue, that looks good together too. Brown and blue look really good together. So I have some mats, and I have 2 mats of pecan pie, one 4 by 5 1/4, and one 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. So they're just a little bit bigger than my DSP that I already have cut, and those are really easy just to put the mats on. Okay. So I'm going to work on this bottom piece first, and I scored this. It's basically scored at 1/2 inch on each side, and then right down the middle at 2 inches. And I want it in the middle. I want this to be a mountain fold, so it stands up like this. And then these 2 edges, I want these to be valley folds, and I want to crease those really good. And I'm going to use tear and tape on this, because this is going to go, it's going to be taped under here so that we have support, and it's going to hold this tent fold card open, but it's not going to let it slide flat when we put all of our stuff together. It's going to hold it together. So this is tear and tape, and it does literally tear. Sometimes I cut it, but it will tear just using your fingernails. And I'm going to lay this flat. I've already done my pre-folding, and I'm going to put some tear and tape on each one of these sides. It goes right back on the roll. And I'm going to burnish this, which means I'm going to really press this down. You can do it with a bone folder, or if you have a pair of scissors. If you don't have a bone folder, just use the rounded edge where you put your fingers and press it down really good. And then take your pick tool or your scissor, and I start kind of in the middle. I don't start at the end, and I take my tear and tape off like that. And I am going to open this to press that. So that is going to go up like that. Okay. And I'm going to take the other piece of tear and tape off. I'm going to just fold that shut. There we go. So that it will hold it together and it won't let the card open any more than I want it to open. And it does fold exactly flat. I don't know how I'm so lucky. Every time I do a live, we have road work going on out front. I don't know how that happens every time, but it does. I hope you can't hear them trundling by with their big equipment. So now I'm going to put my DSP, which was 3 1/4 by 5, and I'm going to put it on my mat, my pecan pie mat, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to lay this on here. Now you can use glue, you can use Stamp and Seal, you know, whatever you like. I think I'm going to use glue on this so I can slip it around just a little bit. And I'm going to look at my top and my sides, my bottom, and get that on there like that. Okay. So this is the front of my card base. And now I'm going to put this, I'm going to add that to the front of my card base. This is just a little bit smaller than my card base, so it'll look like I have a double mat. And since I'm using glue, it gives me just a second to wiggle it even. So that is my basic card base with the bottom section that holds the card when it stands up, holds it firmly in place. So now I want to work on my pocket. And remember, I had a longer side and two shorter sides. And one of the first things I want to do is I want to fold on all these score lines so that the pocket will go together easily, and everything will. And you might need to burnish. I don't think I really need to do this too much. But what I do need to do is take my little paper snips, and I'm going to miter some corners. And I don't know if you can see there's these little score lines down here. Well, I'm going to cut up to the score line, and I'm going to miter, which means to cut a little pie shape out of this. And I'm going to do this 4 times so that my pocket will go together more smoothly, and it won't have cardstock getting caught in there and making it bulky and stuff. So do you see that I have my little tabs right here? Those are going to go in. This is going to fold closed. I'm going to use some tear and tape on this, and it's going to create a 3-dimensional box that I'm going to attach to the front of my card. And this is what's going to hold my sticky notes. So I'm going to open this up, because I want the tear and tape, I want to put my tear and tape, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to put my tear and tape here. And I want to put it fairly close to the outside edge of this. I want to put it on both sides, 2 sides. You just need it on 2 sides. There we go. It doesn't have to be exact, but you do need to press this down with either your scissors, the handle of your scissors, or a bone folder to get it good and stuck down on that one side, because this is 2-sided tape and it's very strong tape, which is what I want, is really strong tape to do this. And I'm going to attach this to the box with some tear and tape too. So I want to fold my little tabs in. Okay, I want to fold my little tabs in, and then I take my box and I fold it together and I just press. I put one finger on the inside and I press on the other side, flip it over, make sure that bottom tab is in, and that side goes there. They all should be a 1/2 inch, so just like that. Okay. So now to do the front, I have this DSP that was 3x2 and my pecan pie, which was 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. So it's just, it'll have an 1/8 of an inch border around all the sides like this. So I'm just going to put some glue on here. Center that. And I'm going to be placing this on the front of the box, which is going to go on the front of the card. Okay, like that. But I want to put some ribbon on there. And I've got a couple choices here. There's basic beige is in the background of this. And I also have some boho blue ribbon. Now this ribbon isn't as flexible. It's just a little thicker, and it's hard to tie a bow, but you can tie a knot in it, such as, oh, here it is. So this one, I tied a knot because it's the same type of ribbon, the same kind, the thickness as this one. Now this ribbon is much thinner, it's translucent even, and it was really easy to tie a bow. And it looked fine on this style of DSP. And I could put clear on here. I could get some of that ribbon, but I kind of liked the boho blue. But I do need to put it on before I attach this to the box. So I think I am going to use the boho blue. And I'm going to get my ribbon scissors. I'm going to cut this. I'm not going to go all the way around the box. I'm going to tape it on the back, just with some clear Scotch tape. And I'm going to kind of fold this over, add some tape. Now this ribbon, it frays on the end really easily, which can be a design thing that you use. And I can move, I can see that's not quite even, so I'm going to move it up just a bit. Okay, so here's my trick. with either tying a bow or I'm going to tie a knot, is I'm going to cut a length of this ribbon. I want to make it look like I tied it on here, that I went all the way around and tied it on here, but sometimes it's hard to do. So I just get a length of it, whether I'm tying a bow or tying a knot, whatever I'm doing, and I tie it right there like that. And it looks like I tied it all the way around, and then I take my ribbon scissors and I cut a little diagonal, and I've got my little knot. Now you can tie this in a bow, but it's pretty bulky and doesn't look as great. So doing a knot with this thicker ribbon looks a little bit better in my opinion. So to get this to stick on here, as I was working on this, glue, you have to hold it for a long time because the ribbon, the bulk of the ribbon, makes it hard to stick it to there. So you can use tear and tape, or you can use seal, Stamp and Seal Plus. Either one of them will work because they're strong enough and they'll adhere pretty quickly. But see, I've got this tape back here, which the seal and stuff doesn't like to stick to. It likes to stick to paper. So I'm going to put plenty of this on the paper. I'm going to put some on the edges and try to capture the edges here. And I'm going to put this down on my box. I'm going to set this right there. And then I can go through and I can press it down. I can put my fingers inside and I can press it down. And if it's hard, you can take your pick tool to have something hard underneath there and press it down. I also have these gems that go with this set. They're called antique pearls, and they go with this set. They're kind of pretty. And I think I might put one pearl, maybe a big one. And I try to slide them off sideways so that the sticky stuff sticks on them. I'm going to put a pearl on there like that. To get this to stick really well, like I said, to the front of my card so that will hold the sticky note really well back to tear and tape. So flip it over and you're going to put like at least 3 strips of tear and tape back here. You put 4 strips if you want. I mean, because you really want this to hold on there. I found that 3 strips is pretty good. It holds it on there. Not because I've had those together for 2 of those boxes together for a week. I made one last night, but 2 of those boxes have been holding together with the notes inside of them to make sure. So then I just put, sometimes I put a block in there or something because I want to press this down really good. My block's a little bit thick for this box, but it's working pretty good. Okay, so I get my tear and tape on there, and then I'm gonna pick it up and take it off because it's sticky on both sides. That's what I want. It's double-sided tape that's really strong. And can you see the tape on there? The reflection of it a little bit. So then I flatten my box so I can try to center this towards the bottom because the weight of it to be towards the bottom. And this bone folder comes in really handy because it fits in here and I can press really hard and get that tape really bonded to the card really well. And then I cut out, I used these are called, and this should be all detailed below. If you're on YouTube, it's underneath my video, and if you're on Facebook, it's above my video. These are called texture notes dies, and they're really, it comes with a set, which I'm going to be using pretty soon. But these are very versatile dies. I mean, you can see they've all got patterns in them. And so I did some out of the pecan pie, and then I stamped Easter greetings. I stamped it in pecan pie, and then I stamped it on the boho blue with Misty Moonlight, which is a darker blue. And I looked at both of those to decide which one I would like better. And I kind of liked the blue one, I think. So I'm gonna just stick that down. I cut the one size bigger out of that same stamp or die set, and sometimes I use my tweezers so my hands get in the way, and get that on there. And then I use some dimensionals that I had out earlier. Oh, don't let me forget, I got to draw for the winner, because there they are, just always under something, right? Which is probably where my strawberry stamp is too, under something. And I just put a couple dimensionals on the back to stand this up. And you can put whatever greeting you want. Like on the fishing one, I put a little note of appreciation, which I thought was kind of appropriate. I put my Easter greetings on there, and my sticky notes, which fell on the floor, of course. My sticky notes fit in there. I can stick a pen in there if I would like to include a pen. And because I have that base on there, and that will hold it up and it won't fall down, it looks really cute. Like that paper? I love that paper. I think it's so cute. So on the back, I'm going to carry that forward. Let me set this to the side for a moment. I'm going to carry that forward into my back. I used the same dies that I used for the front, these textured notes dies, and I used the second biggest one to cut this. And if you can see, it's got little patterns on the edges. And then I stamped my greeting, or my picture on here. And I wanted the lettuce to be behind the radish. And so there's a trick to that. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. I've got a spare piece here. So what you do when you want stamps to appear like it's behind something else is you go ahead and you stamp the top one first, whatever's going to be on top, and I want my radish on top. So I'm going to use my black Memento ink because I am going to color these, and I've already stamped it on here. And you stamp whatever's going to be on top first, okay? And then you make a mask to cover that up, to stamp. I'm going to stamp lettuce on top of that, but it's going to look like it's behind it. So you can use, there's masking paper, and we sell that. And you can use masking paper, or you can use a sticky note. You just have to make sure that some of the sticky is where you use your die, because I'm going to place this right on top of my radish, because I don't want to stamp on my radish. Or if you have masking paper, and I do have some, you can die cut the same image out of the masking paper and use that to cover it up. So now I can take my lettuce, because I want to make it look behind my radish, and I can place it on here kind of where I want it. And part of it is stamped on, it would have stamped on the radish. I don't want that, but now see, it's stamped on my sticky note. But now I just take my sticky note off, and it looks like the lettuce is kind of behind the radish. And that's the way you do that. It's really easy, just with a sticky note. If you have the dies, you cut it out. That's how you do that. So now I did that on my cardstock that I'm going to put on. I better wipe these off before I make a mess with that. Try to keep track of my stamps. Still don't know where that darn strawberry stamp went. So now I'm just going to color these to make this a little more interesting. And I'm going to use some greens, maybe some yellow, I don't know, for the, we'll see. But I'm using sweet sorbet, light sweet sorbet. I think that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, that's pretty red. I'm going to use that for my radish. And like I've said before, we have a paintbrush kind of end, and we have a hard nib end. And for this, I'm going to kind of use the paintbrush for my radish. And I'm going to leave a little white in the middle, like it's got a reflection on it. And then I'm coming in with my dark old olive, and I'm going to trace with my hard nib end. I'm going to trace some of this, just where the artist already made some lines, and I'm going to put in some shadows. But I'm going to trace my lettuce and my leaves. And when you use alcohol inks, they will blend. I usually use dark colors first, and not everybody does that. Some people use light colors first. I kind of like to use my dark colors first. And I just put my veins in and some little this and that. And then I come in with a lighter color, and I could use light, was this Mossy Meadow? No, that was dark old olive. I'm going to use light old olive, and I'm going to use my brush tip. And now I'm just going to go over this because I want to blend. I want to kind of make it blend in all together. And there'll be some darker spots from where I used the dark old olive, and some lighter spots. And I'm still going to leave a few white areas that will pick up, color a little bit in behind that. Yeah. And if you want to make it even lighter, you can take some yellow. Yellow and green go together pretty good. And you can bring in a little bit of yellow to lighten up some areas on your leaves and your, because that'll just lighten up the green. I'm just going to do that a little bit. So then that looks pretty good. And it looks like my radish is in front of my piece of my head of lettuce on that. Looks like the lettuce is behind it because I did that masking technique. Now you could stamp a greeting back here or whatever you wanted, but it goes on the back of this. So whoever you give it to, you could write, you know, happy birthday or happy Easter or whatever it is you want to write. But you know, you've carried that garden theme from the front with the tools to the back. I think it looks pretty cute. So that's our project for today. Look for if you will subscribe to my channel, it will notify you when I go live, and I'm gonna try to get things ready to do a live tomorrow to show you how to make this card. This is one of the cards and another one that are in my card kits for the rest of April. I'm gonna do it for the rest of April, and like I said, moving forward, we'll see how it goes and what I can provide to people. But I'll show you how to do this, and I'll cut all the paper for you, but I can't stamp these images. But any kind of an image, I'm going to show you a different idea of how to put some stuff on here. Any kind of an image looks pretty good on this standing up card. It's kind of extra long, you can see that. And I'll show you how to make that work. But I'm going to do that tomorrow. So, I was going to have a drawing today, and I advertised that last week for this brand new paper pumpkin kit for March. And if you'll remember, this is a special paper pumpkin kit because it has 2 sets of stamps. They usually include only one. It comes with, I haven't opened it because I'm giving this away. It comes with a Stampin' Spot. You do need to have a block to put your stamps on, and some scissors to do some cutting. And online, I mean, in here are directions on how to put this paper pumpkin kit together. But there's a lot of people do alternates for these paper pumpkin kits. I think I'll switch so we can talk. There we go. A lot of people do alternates that are really, really creative for these paper pumpkin kits. And you can go online and you can just type in March 2025 paper pumpkin, and a lot of things will come up, and they'll show you how to do a lot of alternatives, which are really creative and fun. Or maybe you're really creative and fun. So I have my little box here. You had to place a $50 order, and I got a few of those this month. And I have the names in here. They're taped shut, so I can't see who it is. And I'm going to just not look. Pull one out. Need some scissors to cut it open now. So the lucky winner is, this is probably backwards, Babe O'Mara. And she's actually one of my new customers. Isn't that great? Babe just ordered some stuff for me this week and made a qualifying order. So Babe, I just sent you some stuff in the mail, some card kits and things. But now I am sending you this, oh, that glare is terrible, paper pumpkin kit. I'm sending you this paper pumpkin kit in the mail. And that should be, I have your address already, so that should be coming to you within a week. Because I'll get that in the mail just right away for you. So thank you for everybody that placed qualifying orders. I appreciate that so much. And congratulations, babe, for winning the Paper Pumpkin kit. Paper Pumpkin is a subscription service that you get every month as long as you want it. You can pause it, you can cancel it, you can do whatever you want. But it's part of your online account now. It used to be a separate account, but now it's all in your online account, and you can just type in Paper Pumpkin, and they always have fun stuff. Everything's included except the scissors. The first month you get it, they include a block, and then you need to keep that block because it will fit the things that come in Paper Pumpkin. And anyway, it's great. I love these kits. My grandkids love these kits because they're easy enough. Like I said, everything's included. They always give you dimensionals. They always give you glue dots. They give you everything you need. They give you, if you need ribbon, they give you ribbon. They have very detailed directions in every kit, and they even every month, Stampin' Up! Will provide a video. You can go on your website or on your account and type that in, and they'll show you a YouTube video of them putting it together if that's what you would like to watch. So Paper Pumpkin's a lot of fun. It's a very small footprint as far as storage goes, trying to store stuff like this. And you can have everything in this one little box. And these boxes are so useful to take things, take crafting supplies, like if you go camping or go on a trip and you want to take a few things to go. These boxes are great. You can fill them with a lot of stuff. So congratulations, babe. Thank you everybody that placed a qualifying order this month, and I will be sending that out to you. And tomorrow I will be doing my card kits online on YouTube and on Facebook, so I hope you'll watch me for that. And for qualifying orders, like I talked to you about before, starting at $40, you qualify for my free card kits, and I send those to you in the mail. Okay, so thanks for